Evanson looks like he's going to be a really good pick. The few games that he played before he got injured, he definitely looked like he belonged in the National Hockey League. Casper, the jury's still out. He came up for, actually, I was stunned. He actually played only, I think, one game before he got hurt, because usually guys picked in the first round, unless you're a superstar, don't play for a while. So he looks like he's decent. And they have some players that have been highly claimed that they've picked outside the first round, like Carter Mazer. So we'll see. But in order for this team to do anything and do anything for this coming year, they need to get, I wouldn't say a superstar. That would be great, but they got to get a star, somebody who's at least maybe better than Dylan Larkin. They got to get somebody who can score goals. I mean, that to me should be the goal of this offseason, to get somebody who can score 35 goals.
Yeah, somebody that's a
40
threat.
goals.
Somebody that's a threat, a constant threat.
Right.
This is being his fifth draft. Where are you in regards to when you look back and you look at, Mo Sider, he's obviously been able to produce. Lucas Raymond, he's been able to produce, but you've got to be able to have other guys step in or say outperform their draft status.
Right. He did that in Tampa with a few players, and not in the first round. That's for damn sure.
He has to start taking a risk. I mean, it's time to make a move. Like Dumars, when he built the Pistons team, he traded Stackhouse for Rip. People were wowed by that. It came out of nowhere. I remember it was the 1-year anniversary of September 11th, and it's an odd time to make a trade. And me and Stoney were working together. And like, wait, what?
Yeah.
That took some cojones to make that move. It wasn't super cojones move, but it was a shift, and I think there's guys out there that are available, Maple Leafs, the core four, they're going to have to move one of them. Maybe they don't have to do it this offseason. Maybe the new GM wants to take one run at it with them because they've got the time to do it. They got the 1 year. But I would definitely, number one target for me that's realistic, because I think the Matthews stuff is just a pipe dream.
Right.
Is Mitch Marner. And I think you've got to be willing to pay a pretty significant price with draft picks, maybe a Lucas Raymond. I'm not giving up Sider in that deal. No way.
No.
I think the Winnipeg Jets, they've been rumored to they're going to at least
hit
try
the reset button.
Not maybe a total reset, but it hasn't worked with their core. People here, Kenny Cott loves Kyle Connor. Okay, yeah, I think similar to maybe Marner. Maybe don't have to give up quite as much. Both Marner and Connor have 2 years left on their deals. And I think another guy with the Jets is Scheifele. Now, he's a center, so
I like him
30.
a lot, but
he's
30
older.
years old.
He's
right.
30. You've still got some years in the NHL at 30 years old, okay? He's under contract through next season, so you definitely don't have to give up as much when you put age and contract together. They got to get another scorer, man. They have to get a top-line scorer, and he's got to try to do whatever it takes. He shouldn't do something stupid.
No.
He shouldn't overpay. My belief is, Stoney, you always refer to, well, we don't know if they inquired. We don't know if he made the call. I believe with these two teams, because they're Canadian-based teams and the way they're covered obsessively by the Canadian media, that we would find out if Steve Yzerman tried to make a trade for one of these guys. I think, look, there might be somebody else out there that would be an equal, but I think you're kind of with me, lockstep, possibly the top three realistic targets. Because I know you mentioned, we talked about this earlier, you mentioned Gaudreau.
Yeah.
If you like Gaudreau, you should have just signed him and not given up anything.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that would almost be a little bit of a failure by Steve Yzerman. That, okay, now so you're going to give up assets for this guy who signed this big deal. Why didn't you just give him the big deal?
Did they have the cap space last year? I don't remember, but
I believe so.
Yeah, probably.
The moves they made and the space they have now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. It probably wouldn't cost you as much as far as what you have to give up to get him, though. I mean, I don't think he'd work here. He's small, but it's just, if you want a guy who has a history of scoring goals,